Hello, hello, hello. I asked these questions before, but this is a test to see if you remember the answers. How many hours are there in a day? 24 hours is correct. How many minutes are there in an hour? 60 minutes is correct. The last question. What does this grandpa do that takes about 2 minutes? You got it. He reads a Bible story, and here he goes. The story of Lazarus being raised from the dead, part 2. The shortest verse in the Bible says, Jesus wept, and it is found in John chapter 11, verse 15. Martha, Mary, and a great crowd of people were crying out of sorrow over the death of Lazarus, and Jesus cried with them. When all the people saw Jesus crying, they said, "Behold, how he loved him." Some of them asked, "Could not this man that opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died?" Of course he could, but Jesus is now going to do something even more wonderful than making a sick man well again. When they arrived at the grave, Jesus told them to take away the stone that closed the opening to the grave. Martha told Jesus that there would be an odor coming out of the body since Lazarus had been dead 4 days. But Jesus reminded her that if she would only believe, she would see the glory of God. They took away the stone, and Jesus prayed a short prayer, including the words, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me." Then Jesus said with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." Lazarus was then brought back to life again by Jesus, and he came out of the tomb. It had to be hard for him to walk because grave clothes were wrapped all around his body and his face was even covered. That's how they buried people back in those days. Jesus said to the people, "Loose him and let him go." And that's what they did. What is more wonderful than making a sick man well again? I think you will agree that making a dead man alive is more wonderful, and when Jesus comes back to earth, he will raise all believers from the dead. Won't that be wonderful? Now here's another wonderful thing. Many of the friends of Martha and Mary believed on Jesus as a result of this miracle. I believe on him too, don't you? Please return tomorrow for the story of Jesus on the cross. And always remember, Jesus is your very best friend, and he loves you so very much.